Hi everyone, this is Nick here in Sydney, Australia, watching what is effectively an amazing test match where England and New Zealand are going hammer and tongs at each other, and New Zealand took the upper hand early on with Mitchell and Blundell and the like, but England came right back after being down 6-down. In fact, Trent Boult bowled particularly well, and we saw the bowling of Trent Boult really affect the manner of their team. And we saw I'll get it right. We saw England come back with vengeance after being 6-down or 5 or 6 down. In fact, we saw the likes of Bairstow and helped by Overton. I'm just getting a question mark. So it was quite an amazing. So how Ahmed Raza, I was actually waiting for you. So I was a bit late. I had my son with me. We were running around doing some last minute things after Mother's thing, but I'm here now. I'm getting people saying that. Okay, let's have a look at the situation here. We're now wanting to have a good look at the way that this match has gone. So we know New Zealand were pretty stable after the. Hello, Himanshu. Hello, how are you? Joining us now. If you look at the extra situation we have. Of course, the volume's too loud. Of course, I'll turn it down. I'll get the show going. Let's have a look. We had Papua New Guinea playing Fiji. This must be in the rugby league pre-test game show we've got there. You can see that Kumar Sangakkara is showing the likes of some good old Nasser Hussain on how to bat. I don't know why he thinks he can do that, but he's doing it. And we've got a match here that's quite exciting. Of course, we've got a whole host of other events going on. So it's just fun. The old, there we are. All right. So let's just have a look at the score, shall we? Obviously, Sri Lanka were beaten in the T20 final, with Hazel and Carey securing a consolation win for Australia. But the match that we're going to talk about today is the one that's pertinent to our mind. New Zealand were all out for 329, and in that particular innings, we saw once again Mitchell get a century. He scored 109, Blundell got 55, and even Tim Southey tripped him with 33. So 329 was a fairly reasonable score, and really they had England on the ropes at some 6 for 55. That looked terrible. At 6:55, you would argue that would be the end of England's innings. But Ben Folks got out in the 11th over. But as we know, Johnny Bairstow came to the fore. There's now 130 not out after 126 balls, hitting 21 fours. Ben Stokes is a brisk 18. But of course, then we had Overton, 89 not out with 12 fours and 2 sixes, complimenting Johnny Bairstow amazingly. And they put on a great partnership of what is well over 200. In fact, the wicket fell at 6:55. Their partnership was actually 209, and they're still going. I think England now at 6 for 264. They are only 65 runs in arrears. Amazing. Rohan Kohli, Ramesh Raja said in an interview, Norman, Pakistan win 75% from last year. Okay. Don't see the ranking. India's world #1. Pakistan #3. Okay. Let's just let the year pan out, Rohan. We'll see how we go. Last night, Tyler Greening played a big part, and he certainly did. You're right, Oliver. Vic Bakaria, Labuschagne has been badly exposed by spin in the series. Well, Labuschagne's been badly exposed from just not only batting to spin, but bowling as a spinner. He shouldn't have been there. Greeny's skill set, Oliver, is second to none. I would agree with that. And certainly deserves to be in all formats of the game. He's a young guy. He's got a long way to go. So England are 6 for 264, 65 runs in the airs with Bairstow coming out now. We've got the South African umpire. What's his name again? I always forget his name. Quite a good one. The British flags coming up as we're there at Headingley at Leeds. Are you following ongoing Test match Bangladesh? Yes, I certainly am. I'm watching it as well. And if you look at that, let's what's the score in that one? Bangladesh were all out for 234, and West Indies are none for 67. In the Bangladesh innings, of course, we had Tamim Iqbal, who's got 5,000 Test runs now, scoring 46. The rest, Lytton Dust got 53 as well. So the score was passable only. Looking at the Headingley pitch as we speak. So Ramesh Raja, okay, I've read that already, Ron, in part. So yeah, Bangladesh all out for 234, with West Indies none for 67. So West Indies have given a good fist to their start. British flags are out in force. What is it, June 25th? I'm not sure what the occasion. We've got a black armband there on Trent Bolt's arm. I'm not sure whether the line actually. I'm not sure the line actually went out there, and did he put out this? Let's look at what's the story here. Glenn Maxwell interview was saying there's been no interview that I can see from Line, although Line may have done it like an interim speech of some sort. Labu, okay. Let's just see what the story is there. The APL under. Okay, so let's have a look here. So there we are. We have England are coming out to the field. Labuschagne's on a play-to-play. Some conditions do agree. I totally start people go, I don't think he's really had the pressure put on him, and it's been put on him now, so we'll see how he goes. Ahmed Raza, West Indies bowlers again bamboozled Bangladesh batters. Well, it's still 230. It's not the end of the world just yet. So again, New Zealand all out for 329. England are now 6 for 264. Johnny Best, 130 not out, with Jamie Overton on 89. Could well be century on debut. Great start. Conundrum and misery continues for Bangladesh batting lineup. Yeah, well, they've got some great players. There's none about that. In much of Tim David 42 not out and a 220 blast yesterday. Bambi got 50 yesterday. Well, those blokes are there and they're about to say they'll be there. Right, when you've got the thing with Ramesh Raja, is very good. He's a jealous person. I don't know. It's hard to say whether being a bit harder than I think Besto 130. He's also scored 5,000 Test runs now. So Line. Not sure what. So New Zealand, they get early wickets. Could be a pattern of the day. Could be the pattern of the day. So let's hope for the batter's sake there's a century on the cards for Overton. Mind you, there's going to be a lot more following with. Here we go. Okay. I'm just curious as to what interview Line is. Line has been. Don't forget, Nathan Lyon actually played his first ever Test match at Gaunt's, and he took the wicket of Sangakkara there, and that will never be etched in his memory for good, I'd say. Memory to be had. Besto's facing. Much of something is also very dangerous. Yeah, to an extent. Well, oh god, yeah. Tomorrow's India versus Ireland. You're playing 11 for the Indian team. So I think we'll talk about it during the telecast. I don't know exactly who I'm going to put at this point. I'm sure they're going to go with a fairly solid lineup. This would be one of their most important days as far as the practice leading into the whole situation there. Nathan Lyon is romancing over his day, I'd say. Oh boy. So national content, why is it so important? Well, to some people it's important, others it's not, is it? So let's change the format of the photographs now. We'll see how we go. So Jamie Overton's on 89. He's facing Bracewell. He's got hasn't taken a wicket yet. Overton's very quickly off the mark there. And he's well than one team. Oh, that's true, right? Well, let's see them do it. Let's see them continue that incredible way. Nathan Lyon, he's right up there. Let's not forget. So Lyon reflects on first test. Gall. Maxwell looming. Large. So Bairstow's still there, of course. Only 50 overs have gone past. Let's have a look at this. Okay. Hello, Kavish Maldinia, Norman Uncle. And he is, okay, it's still important. It sets the tone. If I want to ban problem ends, so is cricket Australia keep it back in Finch. Not so long. I can't see Warner start coming in for Finch. No hope. So for Bukhari, Australia is touring India for 3 T20Is in September. Do you know the exact dates? No, I don't know. So Vic Bukhari, your job is to find it out and let me know. Okay, so Vic Bukhari, you asking the question? You go and find that for me because I don't know offhand. I mean, the reality is that we've got preview day 3 here with Headingley Leeds. We've got England versus New Zealand. That's all guns are blazing. We've just had a conference with Glenn Maxwell not long ago. It's quite a discussion, actually.
Well, my last test was a test win in Bangladesh, and it's full of all sorts of
gunk,
different things, and it stayed in the little bag that we get. And I took it out last year.
It's quite funny. All right. Hunter Pearson, who hit the century. The fact is, they both have 7 boundaries only. Okay, look, they're in the future, not now. I'd say they're in the future, not just yet. Can Australia win in a Sri Lankan test series? Well, I'm predicting Samanth a 1-1 draw, but we'll wait and see. I mean, it's going to be debatable whether that, what actually takes place there. Why? Because it's you would think it's going to favour the Sri Lankan bowlers. It's Mohsin Khan. Hello, Mohsin Sheikh. I keep calling him Mohsin Khan for some reason.
No, you love me as Khan. How are you, Norman?
Good. How are you? I'm Norman Khan. So there you go. Norman Khan do everything.
That's it. I'm going to call you Khan as well. So we Khan brothers.
Yeah, I remember being in India years ago with my then wife, and was sitting there in a place in Delhi, and I had this it was a Pakistani outfit actually, but bought in India, and I called myself Norman Khan. So if anyone come along and I'd introduce myself, hi, my name's Norman Khan.
Oh, there you go.
It sounds very posh.
It is very posh.
Biram Irani's been making comments in all my posts. Where is the spirit of cricket? He's getting quite cantankerous in his old age.
He's not joining. Anyway, he's just making comments.
Now I don't want to be negative about something, but it's wonderful the way the Sri Lankan crowd is saying thank you to Australia for being there under the circumstances. It's very heartwarming, very heart-wrenching. But didn't Pakistan just do that to Australia a short while ago as well? Is it the theme of the month that Australia's going to get pats on the back for going to be a team? So I mean, look, okay, it is a good thing. But what, are they getting everywhere in the world? We're going to start clapping them now? Let's not get out of hand.
I think the thing is, it could have been easily cancelled tour because obviously with the crisis and whatnot, and Australians are known of pulling out of tours. So, that's probably one thing that the crowd has come out and appreciated, which is I can understand from.
Oh no, it's very nice. Don't get me wrong, but it's just putting Australia in a.
I understand your perspective. Yeah, true. It's not really.
I don't want Australia to expect that to be given every time when they go somewhere for.
I know.
I don't think India will do that somehow.
No, I don't think so. India would expect Australia to go there. If not, then there'll be some consequences.
Isn't this England New Zealand series amazing? Overton's now 91.
The guy on W has got only one first class 100, and here he is on the verge of getting a test 100 on debut. That is amazing. And Johnny Bairstow continues his purple form. He's saved this test match, in all honesty, for England.
655 they were.
It's unbelievable. And Trent Bolt's spell was just magical. He got the ball swinging, seaming, and
he knocked every stump out for 3 dismissals. One was off the middle leg. How do you do that?
He's unbelievable. And the thing is, it just showed, as we spoke on day one, or just before the test match started, we were talking about New Zealand have gone one less bowler, and it showed because once they got the bowlers had their good workload, they didn't have number 4 bowler to come in and carry on. So they were tired. All 3 were used on day 2, and then they ran out of the battery, and then that's where Bairstow and Overton, it's just unbelievable the way they've saved the test match for
Jamie Overton's a beast of a guy. He reminds me of that West Indian. What was his name? The one that remember the name?
Carlos Braithwaite.
He's a bit like Carlos Braithwaite from build.
Yeah, he is. He's massive, and that's what there's all good raps on him before this test debut as well. That this guy can bowl quick, he can hit the ball. But what I was saying, he's only got one first class 100 to show for, and all of a sudden he's in 90s in a test match against New Zealand with a good bowling attack. It's not just he's playing against a Minnows or something. He's playing against it's the number 1 test team. And he's got.
But he's a big lump of a lad. Look at him.
He's massive.
The front row forward or something.
Exactly right.
And he's not slim. He's got a bit of blood there. He's a bit of cup there.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah.
No, and look, Mitchell. What an amazing series and blunder.
300s in 3 different conditions, 3 different venues, and the guy's not stoppable. He's just unbelievable. And Blundell as well, the partnership, I tagged you on that record that these two have got the highest partnership record. Even Mitchell's got the highest in 3 test series for New Zealand against England as well. So, he will remember this series forever. And I think he's definitely well and truly arrived, even though we both said that he's a very good batter, but he's well and truly arrived at world stage. So I think he'll finish on a high note with New Zealand, whatever test he play from there on.
He's also first slip. He seems to just taken over.
Yeah, good hands, good fielder. You never know. He could be another captaincy contender.
Well, he's Ben Stokes like almost a little bit.
He's dominated. He's just dominated. Didn't look like getting out. Even in his big 100 that he got, 180 odd in second test, he didn't look like getting out at all. He was just so comfortable against all the English bowling attack throw at him. He was just very comfortable. So
yeah, he just thinks when he came in the bat, you almost think, "Oh my God, it's Mitchell and Blunt. They're going to score runs." There was no question.
No.
And actually, it has an effect on the side. If 2 batters continue to have good partnerships, whenever they get together, the bowling attacks get the fear of it.
And that's true, and that's what it is. It's just that middle order or late middle order. These two are just holding the group together. It's just a shame that New Zealand's top order has not clicked. They've got good batters in top order, but they have not clicked. So
Now, but Baramarani is very defined. Baram, if you're going to talk about that, I'm going to send you the link. And you're going to come talk about it. I'm not going to have you spending half our show reading. You should be. You should be.
ask what his
making
thoughts are on Harry Nicholls' dismissal. What his thoughts are. I'd like to hear from him what his opinion is.
Just trying to find the link. Oh God, I have to go playing around with my. I've got so many things. Nathan Lyon's been able to chat too.
Yeah, and this is his ground that he made his Test debut. Now he's leading, current leading wicket taker for Australia. Obviously, it's good hunting ground for him. So I'd like to see, again, as I said yesterday, I'd like to see a good contest. I want to see Sri Lanka being competitive. Regardless of what the result is, if Sri Lanka is competitive in that Test series, that would give me a good result for them. They're on a way. They're responding to the new coach well, and I think they're on a mend for their Test cricket.
So Upton's on 91. There's the 133. Is best they're going to double 100.
Well, that's
Ram, I've sent to the called Henry back. Huggins taking away. What happened again with that? I'm trying to work out what happened.
Just, I think non-striker. He hit and then.
I hit the bat and got caught. That's the way cookie crumbles.
Exactly right. Sometimes it is. Sometimes now that they've allowed the off the ricochet, it's a dismissal. So it is a dismissal. If someone's at short leg, ball hits his helmet or his body, and someone catches it, it's out. So it's just unfortunate. It's like getting out on a non-striker end when the bowler tips his finger and you get run out. What do? You call it back?
Exactly. Okay. Also, all right. Maxwell back on the test side. He's baggy green cap. I saw the interview on my channel. He was talking about that so ruined, but it's a new one.
And you
probably never thought he'd play again.
I didn't want him to be in the Test side, but you predicted it. So hence your predictions coming true. He might play those Test matches now because there's no spinner apart from Lyon, and he will play that all-rounder role.
He's the best in all the matches that have been played so far in Sri.
For white ball, yes. For white ball, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah.
And look, Australia have got Cam Green, I'll give them that, and Mitch Marsh, I'll give them that. But they haven't got a Ben Stokes or even a Bear at the moment who can tear a match away. Like, if Australia was 65, I honestly don't think Mitch Marsh or Cam Green will come through like Bear Stokes or Stokes does. But Maxwell, given the right circumstance, he could do that.
He could do that, yes. And by the look of it, him coming into Test squad, I think the Australians have decided not to throw in Mitch Marsh in the group. I think they'll go with Cam Green as an all-rounder, Maxwell as an all-rounder, and then there'll be three other bowlers, which would be two quicks and Nathan Lyon. So that would be my understanding. So that's a long batting order. If you look at that, Kerry could be batting at 8.
I'll go further with my prediction. I'll go with further my prediction. I would like to see Labuschagne bat lower down the order and let him bat at 3. Bold, very McCullum-like, but he loves Sri Lankan conditions and could score any number of runs if given the opportunity.
But that's not going to happen. You know that. Smith 3 -4, Maxi might be 5.
Hang on, are you saying just Labuschagne 4?
Well, Smith will go. Smith and Marnus will play 3 and 4.
In what order?
I'll still like to see Smith 3.
He won't. I bet you Labuschagne 3.
Yeah, he won't. Yeah, Marnus is listed at 3, but I would like to go Smith at 3. You got to play. Ponting's always batted at 3. He was the best batsman in the team. So Ponting always had number 3 spot for himself. I would want to see Smith gone back to number 3 as the best spot for him. I know he'll bat 4 because Marnus wants to bat 3 as well. So
no, look, I get your thoughts. It's logical. Makes sense. But I just gut feel if the Australian selectors are watching with one eye on McCullum and England and the way they're going about things there. I don't know.
They're both similar kind of bats, so you want to break that similarity between the two. So if you get early wicket, if Warner gets out, Uzi's not going to attack hard. So you got Uzi, Marnus, Smith, all a similar grafted kind of batters. They're not really the attackers. Yeah, but then if you go 5-6, then you start to get someone who's going to attack the batting. So it's really that kind of.
Okay, all right. Let's play. Australia will have Warner and Labuschagne. Sorry, Warner and Khawaja opening. I think we've settled on that. Labuschagne 3, 4, 5 will be Max.
Yeah, I think so. Maxi will go 5 or 6. If Kerry goes 5, Maxi goes 6.
Who would go 5?
Alex keeper, Alex Kerry.
That's too high.
I know it is too high for him.
Oh no!
If they're protecting Maxwell, if they're going, okay, we want to go Maxwell. If they are 300 on board, then yes, Maxwell will go. But I would want to go Maxwell higher because that's where you take the game away.
Yeah, look. Again, I think Maxwell has not been allowed in his career to show how good a chess player he could be. Because he can bat not just aggressively, but he can bat. And I look at Bedstow or Stokes moment and what they do. Maxwell can do that. He's one of the few batters who can do that.
Yes, true. Very true. Very true.
So on Ashes tour next year, I know Head's been a bit like that too. But Maxwell Head. Maxwell's bowling. Streets ahead of Head's bowling.
No, I agree. And that's where you go Cam Green at 7, and then you got your 4 bowlers. So you still have opportunity with Cam Green at 7. Then you have 3 bowlers, 4 bowlers. That's a long batting. That's a long batting attack you've got. They can flip another batter in there. Well, Travis Head is out, so obviously they've got to fill in.
It's very interesting. Travis Head was out. Usman Khawaja came in and took the game by the horns, didn't he? Again, Travis Head is out, and Maxwell's in. He could.
Can he make Test squad as a permanent spot?
Sorry.
That's interesting. Can he make that spot permanently for himself?
Well, I tell you what, if he does a number on Sri Lanka and wins matches for us, so that's
he will be in India, I think.
Okay, let's go through that side again. This is Warner, Khawaja, Labuschagne, then you got Smith, and on top of that you got Maxwell. Probably, I'm going to say Green, then Carey, then the 4. Then you've got Stark, Cummins, Stark, Klein, Hazelwood.
Pretty good team. Very good.
But that gives Australia a double spin bowling option and not damage their batting line.
Yes, and plus you've got 4 quicks as well. So you've got 3 top line quick and then Cam Green as a 4th. So that's a really good balanced attack.
I mean, Mitch Marsh is somewhere in the equation, yes. And Travis Head, if Maxwell does well, where do you put Travis Head? I'm sorry. Travis Head's bowling is inferior.
Maxi gets a couple of hundred. I think he will be batting 5 in India.
No doubt. And probably the World Cup too, in a different format. And then back in Australia, he could have a leg up on Head. And I know I'm anti-Head, you might think, but I just continuously think there's something not consistent enough about his scores to warrant. The same with Maxwell.
Just too loose. Yeah, he's just.
If Australia are going to put Maxwell in this Test series, they're not putting him there to stop him. I don't think, even though Head's injured. I think there's a bit of a plan on him.
And that's what I like, consistency. If he utilizes this opportunity, I like the consistency. Give him full India series. Let him have a good crack at, and then if he fails, then he's done. but I will give him a full crack.
Okay. Oliver Lutkins, they're all there. I've to throw these names in there. He's put Todd Murphy in there, but he's dropped Hazelwood. No, it's not going to happen.
No. Even though Harry Hunt, I'm liking him very much. He scored that 100 in A to win the game, but I think he will probably stay in the mix, but not yet.
No, not yet. Okay, the other one was they keep mentioning. I don't know this guy at all. To be honest with you, I'll go back a little bit. Where is his name? We've got Tegan Willie. I've got who is Tegan Willie? I've got no idea. There's Manshu, I reckon, goes through the list and finds names from somewhere.
Oh, Best is moving on really nicely. He's 141. He's attacking.
I love it. He's just slashing. He's slashing. I love it. I love it. But see, that's the point. Maxwell does that. Even Cam Green or even Mitch Marsh. Mitch Marsh a little bit, but Maxwell can do that and really can go for it.
Take the game away. It's only 53 overs and they're 278. They're not far from New Zealand's target. And the game has moved so quickly between yesterday and today that, you think that 53 overs, England would be going at 3 and over or something, but they're at 278 already.
Now, Rowan Coley, Australia not loose. They might lose, but not loose.
They're not loose. But I think it'd be a good contest.
Okay, Oliver Lutkins. I don't know whether he's getting this out of his arse. He's saying reports are moving makes taste of it. Who's your report? Who's that report saying?
I'd be very surprised if Murphy plays ahead of Kuhnemann. I'll be very surprised. But, funny things have happened. But I'll be very surprised if Murphy plays in front of Kuhnemann.
So Murphy's a spinner.
He's an off spinner, yeah. He played for Sixers this last.
But we've got Murphy, Lyon, and Maxwell bowling off spin now.
No, I don't see that. That's what I'm saying. I'll be very surprised if he does, because Australia love to take a spinner who can spin the ball away. But obviously, Swepson haven't done the role that they wanted him to do, and that's why they blooded Kuhnemann in, and he's done the job with the white ball, and I think he'll play a lot of white ball cricket. And he could be surprised somewhere in the mix in the test, because obviously your Agar is unfit.
You see, Agar's lack of fitness is the reason. And I know that Zampa's not mindset, but I would have given him a go. I would, if he goes.
Again, Zampa's is in subcontinent. You've got to give him a go. But they haven't played him in red ball for a long time now.
He's never played.
He's never played Test cricket. He's hardly plays first class cricket again. He's back in New South Wales fold, but he's still, he misses that lot of season due to international commitments. So he hardly plays red ball cricket.
Yeah, but I don't know why not. He bowls extremely well, accurately, wins matches. Oh, yeah, we know Sri Lanka's going to play 7 spinners, for God's sake. They're going to play 7 spinners.
Yeah, I agree. The Gale pitch will not be reverse swinging pitch, but it would be spinning track. It would be an interesting it would be interesting how Australia actually go about playing spin, because they have been struggling in really good spinning conditions. So it'd be very interesting how Maxi plays as well, because his strike rate against spin is really good.
Okay. Reports. I'll just find me this report. Tell me who said it. I believe it. Adil Rashid and Mr. White Ball series against any hit. We're going for hard. Okay, that's better. And Manchu Rahel, no one said we're dropping Cam Green, and we saw how he batted in the World Cup. He's in. No one's saying he's not in.
I like to see him getting an extended run.
He's in. And he'll win the T20 World Cup. I think they're going to go. They'll have Australia and Van he's pretty good. I mean, Sri Lanka. And Roshan Dickweller takes in this series 7 dismissals. He's the leading Sri Lankan keeper in dismissals ever. Although Tagaka's taken 200 dismissals, but there are other ones who do outfield catches.
Towards the end of his career, he gave up gloves anyway, so he wasn't keeping.
No.
He was just fat. So.
And he played 700,000 Test matches.
Yeah, true.
Okay, let me tell you. Okay, so Pagara, tell me.
It's not going to be easy.
I'm telling you the same thing.
Yeah,
When did I say it was going to be easy to play? They're in some danger here.
We definitely agree with you. Australia will have tough time.
How many players by head? What do you mean? I like Cameron Green. You've been talking about Cameron Green. What's your problem?
He hates Travis Head. We all know. So
Travis Head annoys me.
We just move on from that.
Yeah.
We would like to see that. If Sri Lanka dominates this Test series, Australia will miss out playing the finals of the Test cricket, the Test Championship. I think
Is that right?
Australia won't win in India. If Australia doesn't win here, they'll miss out on the World Test Championship. That's my prediction. Australia will have to go hard.
And that means India and potentially South Africa or Pakistan.
Yeah.
My God, England can't. Unfortunately, even though they played well recently, they're not going to.
No.
So Trent Bolt, I feel sorry for him. He's bowling exceptionally well.
Exceptional. But that's the thing, we said that at the team announcement, they're one bowler short, and it is showing that they are one bowler short.
Okay, Himanshu egging me on bad start now. No, he is bowling. He's a good bowler. I don't know whether he's at his best, and he's just come off his finger injury. Oh, I think the wickets won't suit him anyway.
No, he hasn't bowled again since the off season. He's only played one game. He's coming off in injury, and plus the pitch is not going to support him. They're just not going to. It's just the pace earlier on that he might disturb a couple of batters. But you've got to remember there's two different paces. One is in the air, one's off the deck. So in Sri Lanka, off the deck pace is not going to be quick. In the air, yes, it's going to be quick. He'd be 145 plus, but then off the deck, the decks will take a lot of pace off. So Sri Lankan batters are used to that. So he's not going to be as effective if the ball's not swinging or reverse swinging. So,
but the confidence exudes in the Sri Lankan lineup now is huge.
It is. And you can see that they're responding well. As I said before, they're responding really well to new coach. New changes in the change rooms have always, push the teams to do good things, as you can see in England as well. So, yeah, I like to see a bit of a challenge in that Test series.
Now, Ralph okay, I'm not sure whether you're sadistic or Ralph, but I hope he doesn't kill anyone. Right? So be careful with your words there. He's going to get a machete or something.
No, we'd like to see good contest.
Subhash Chandra Bharata, likely, also Mendes, Matthews, Dillon Jones, well. That's a pretty bloody good side. Embledini can bowl, Jared Vikrama can bowl, Mendes. This is a pretty hot-looking one.
I like your thinking there. I like the side. Very balanced in this one.
How's the run going?
No, I don't think he'll play Test. He's white ball dominant. But I like the spin heavy 11 that you picked. But that's going to challenge Australia.
But it's tremendous. Kurunarat and they can all bat.
Very good team. Very good. And Matthews in form as well. So he scored a couple of hundreds against South Africa recently. And big ones too. So 190, and I think there was.
And he's home.
Yeah. So he's in good form. I like that. I like to see Chandimal score some more runs as well. So yeah, it's good balance.
Well, I think I told you during the 16 World Cup, that's 7 years ago. I was walking around Christchurch, the ground, both Dinesh Chandimal and the all-rounder. I've got his name. Cesara Pereira. Walking around the ground, they know me. They called out, "Hey Norman, where's your wife?" Because they knew I was separated, and they were giving me heat. I didn't even. I'm minding my own business, walking around the ground. They're on the field, walking around the ground. And they called out. It was hilarious.
Yeah, funny.
I screamed, "Shut up!" It was funny. It's not often you get two players calling out, stirring up like that. It's pretty. Anyway. Okay. All right. Sri Lanka's finished to sort of Stark. I think Sri Lanka's finished will do tonight. And we don't. Emerald Dinia is unknown to us a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't mean kill as in dead, what do you mean? Smash, destroy.
Yeah.
Without reverse swing, Stark is yeah.
Yeah,
he on the ball
he wasn't effective in Pakistan, where the ball did reverse. He still didn't wasn't effective. So I like to think with this pace he will still be a little bit effective with new ball, but then I don't see him with the older ball doing tricks that spinners will dominate.
Now Jamie Overton, I think he's 96 not out.
Yeah, he's slowed down after getting into 90s. He's with this. Bairstow is actually hogging the strike as well, so he's 148 now.
Here comes Wagner. Wagner's got this X factor about him. He tends to take wickets when he needs to.
Yeah, but the thing you see is the New Zealand bowlers have already bowled around 20 overs each. In the first innings, so you've got to see that they've got what Bolter's bowled 90, Southey's bowled 20, and Wagner's 9. So between Bracewell and Daryl Mitchell, those 8 overs have gone a distance. They've just destroyed the part-timers. 5 overs for 39 for Bracewell, Mitchell 3 overs for 16. So these 8 overs have cost them 55 runs. So they didn't let the part-timers settle in, which is what their plan was to keep the main bowlers on, and which is why you see Southey and Bolt have already bowled close to 20 overs. So it is going to be a factor.
Bairstow has scored 150. It's his third 150 plus 86 tests, first against New Zealand. He scored 5,000 plus test runs now. He's showing his wares finally. He was, look at Ben Stokes. He's rallying the forward. Ben Stokes, what an exceptional captain he's going to be. I'm convinced he is something. I tell you what, Australia need to take notice of this and start to plan for a Cam Green or someone of that ilk to be a captain of Australia.
That's right.
We need to have someone.
And that's what he'll bring, that same attitude what Ian Botham had for England. If you remember the '83 Ashes when Botham eliminated, and then he arrived, I think, with the attacking approach that Strokes have. He'll be that kind of captain.
If you go back through history, though, whether it was the time the West Indies were all over the place with Richards and Fredericks and Greenwich, they were attacking.
Exactly.
And of course, both of them, Australia with Hayden and Langer at the time, and teams that do well are the aggressors who take that upper hand. Again, when Kevin Peterson was playing, Ricky Ponting, they had this attitude that we're seeing England show, and they're going to be a force if they keep doing this.
Yeah, and I think that's what the task is for England now, because they know the Test Championship is probably out of the reach for them to play the final. They'll be preparing themselves for Australia at home next summer.
Oh, big time.
I look forward to that. I hope that it is like the 2005 Ashes.
But Australia needs to get the same mongrel. We haven't got that.
No,
sorry. Even though Pat Cummins is a nice enough bloke and he's pretty good, leads by example, he's not really that mongrel-like in the way he does it. I don't know. Cam Green just gives me a feeling to be the one.
The batting is going to be interesting in England. They haven't looked. We haven't won Ashes in England for a long time, so that would be a task.
Okay, take a step back. Is this whole push to get Warner back as a captain potentially? Is this potentially? Are they thinking along the same lines as Warner? He's aggressive and no punches.
But I'd be disappointed if they go Warner as a captain, because that would be a step backwards. if you
Oh, I
really
agree. I agree totally.
he's on the other side of 35. You don't want to be a captain who's close to, towards the end, twilight of his career. If we step
Yeah,
backwards.
I agree with you. But as are Australia seeing what McCullum's revolutionary attitude is? Because I think it's rubbing off.
Mm,
I think it's rubbing off.
mm,
If Silverwood's got any brains, he will learn from what McCullum's doing with Schleicher and let
yes.
Matthews or whomever, or even Dickweller.
Mm,
I'll repeat it again. If Narosh and Dickweller were allowed to open the batting in a test format and let him be the Warner-like self that he is, we would see a renaissance in Sri Lanka. Narosh and Dickweller is capable of bat like that.
yeah, but I think he'll bat in the low middle order. He will.
But he always runs out of partners.
Sorry.
He always runs out of partners. Go back and have a look at his test.
That's the thing. He bats too low for my liking, but unfortunately that's the role they currently have got lined for him, because they've got that settled sort of top to middle order, and they want to just continue because they've just done well.
But you are being. I'm going to be a bit critical of you now. You've just suggested you like to have Alex Carey bat up higher. Now, why can't Ross and Dickweller do the same thing? I would prefer to Carey down the order, by the way.
I look. Don't get me wrong. I like him to bat up the order because he's the attacking instinct. He's got the X factor. But what I'm saying is, because they've done well with this batting order, I think it'd be too early for making too many changes in that batting order, because you've got Matthew, who's got an attacking instinct. You've got Chandimal, who can attack as well. So you've got kind of a little bit of settled middle order batsman. That's why I see hard for the management to make a change and bring Dickweller up the order. I know he runs out of partners towards the end because he's always batting with tail.
He always gets 50, 60, 70, 80,
he either has to change his game to try and protect, or he has to tack to make whatever runs he can, because he's stuck with the tail. So it's a catch-22. I like him to go up the order, but at this point in time, I think they're currently settled with that top order and the middle order, which makes it hard for him to go up the order.
Okay. Someone called Brad Australia. I hope not Brad, only beat. Can we transition to okay. Now, I'm getting told off here. Ralph. Norman, haven't you heard of the phrase, something well? Yes, I have. I was being cheeky.
He was being...
And Subhost is bringing out stats there. Warner's averaging 9 innings in England. Okay.
Yeah. He's
We've got a wicket here. Overton's got out at 7.
No, I didn't see that. What a shame.
Bolt's taken
What a shame.
He looked a bit nervous this morning.
Well, that's what I was saying. Since he's got into 90s, he was very nervy. He didn't want to. He got off strike a lot, and then all of a sudden, 97, the nervous 90s on debut. Agar, remember, a heartbreaking.
It was Trent Bridge. He got 99.
Trent Bridge, he got 99.
I was there.
Were you? There you go. So I wouldn't call you a bad omen here, but you just.
How do you get out though?
Caught Mitchell. So it'd be. I haven't seen the dismissal, but
first slip.
Yeah.
Trent Bolt, underrated something horrid.
Yeah.
Really good bowler. He's got 300 plus test wickets.
Yes. Oh, look, he's bowled his heart out. If New Zealand managed to win this test match from here, it'd be Trent Bolt. But what I'm saying earlier, they both have bowled over 20 overs. It is only first innings. If England bats next day and a half, day 5, they'd be tied. Both South Indian bowlers. It'd be hard for them to get a result in their favour.
So Marchant knows I like Jason Sanger. So he's put Jason Sanger with Todd Murphy to appease me, knowing I like Jason Sanger. And for God's sake, Australia, listen to me now. Pick Jason Sanger the next couple of years, for God's sake. Don't miss out on a long-term Greg Chappell-like batsman. Ralph just laughing. India is Bumrah for captaincy. What? No.
No, I don't.
No, that's
I
not a
don't
start.
think Bumrah's a good captain. He's very quiet. He's. Would be very
Every
disappointed.
club.
I'll be disappointed if Bumrah's captaining India. They've got a lot of other leaders at the moment, so.
Sonny Stewart Broad scored the most runs in 9 and 10 apparently of any batsman. Yeah, he's got a batting average of 18.
Yes, true. He's got 100 against Pakistan. I was there. He's got
Oh, he can hit the ball.
He can hit the ball. But
Look,
since
they're
he's
in
got-
danger of not making 329 again.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is that I'm going back to Stuart Broad for a sec. The concussion has actually done worse to a lot of batters. You know, Smith concussed in England last Ashes. He hasn't done really well in all three formats. And I remember Broad in early days when he was coming on, he was turning into an all-rounder. He got concussed as well, and since then he's been afraid of the ball. You know, there's a lot of quicks of attack bowling short to him, and he's been getting out. So he hasn't done well. So there's a lot of examples we can see that concussion has actually made an effect on how the batters have played. And Will Pucovski is another example. You know, he was tagged as next best thing that Australian opening slot could do, but unfortunately, so many concussions, and he's struggling. I'd like to see him have a good full season here with Victoria.
Yeah, look, he's got all the talent in the world. But he's had so many of those concussions. Jesus.
It's unfortunate.
Seriously. I mean, how could you get hit so many times?
That's right.
What's happening here? What's with the technique? I mean, is he playing to shot? Is he getting hit flush?
Yeah, he's been hit flush. One game I was there, he got really cleaned up flush on the side of the helmet, and he was taken away and subbed and whatnot. So he's been, it's just that either mistiming or once you hit, then your judgment becomes a bit cloudy as well. So I think poor guy is young. I hope he gets over that. Remember he took a year off from the game as well when he got concussed twice in the season. So last year he was playing all right, and then he got concussed again. He played another pull shot and got top edge into his helmet, and he was concussed sub as well.
So I want your opinion on this. As far as coaching is concerned, why are they not getting him in the nets, getting tennis balls and bouncing them relentlessly, and teach them the art of ducking and weaving? I would say every batter should be given this routine when they're young age of learning how to duck and weave a ball. Not turn their head and hit the back of their head. I was never taught to go like that. Never. The ball's coming, you get out of the way. You never.
Yeah, I've seen his training. He does face a lot of short deliveries. He does a lot of training. It's the instinct. You know, if you're a compulsive puller, you do feel that you have a shot that is your shot. He's a compulsive puller and hooker.
That's okay. You pull the ball on, but you get when the ball's there, you get inside the line and play the shot. You do not face on play that shot. You get inside the line and pull. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm very adamant. I think there's flaws in training.
No, look, I'm hearing what you're saying. It's just that the times that I've seen him a couple of times that he got missed. It's the missed timing of the ball. Either the ball stayed in the pitch, you know. It's the conditions that we train are not necessarily the conditions that they play in. So I know in Melbourne MCG when he got hit, the pitch was actually holding the ball up. The ball wasn't coming through. He mistimed one of the shots. He was playing full shot all right, and all of a sudden he mistimed one and he got hit. And then the second time, poor guy was in a fielding spot and he got hit with the ball. So it's been very, very unfortunate. Some occasions been very unfortunate. Some occasions I give you that, you know, he's made a bad decision as well. But it's the nature of the game, I suppose.
The only time I ever got hit was in the back of the head. And a guy called Brad Murphy, who you would know, being Brad Murphy.
Yeah.
Brad tried to kick the ball off the ground from point. I was in front of him, and it left off the ground, hit me in the back of the head. That's how I got hit.
Fair enough. fair enough.
And
But you,
anyway, and I'm not bragging, and I was a batter, and I faced fast bowling, and I just learnt from day one how to get out. And in those days, we didn't wear helmets.
yeah,
You had
true.
no choice. And I played balls and cuts, and I didn't hesitate there either. But I'm just saying to you, if you do pull, you get inside the line, because even if you miss, even if it edges, it goes straight through. Unless you're very unlucky and it comes off an edge and goes towards you, you're not going to get it. You have to watch the ball come towards you and get out of the way of it. When the ball's short, you get out of the way of it. You move it. You're constantly watching the ball. The moment you turn your head and hits you there, it's because you're not watching the ball.
Yeah, true.
Helmet.
No, that's the thing. I think the one hit, anyone can get hit once, but one hit puts a lot of things. And I remember I'm going to bring the incident we all know when we lost one of our beloved players.
I was there. I was actually there at the SCG when he was playing. It was on 63 not out. Good old Philip Hughes against New South Wales, playing for South Australia. I happened to go to the ladies' stand that day, and I watched the whole thing, and I'll never forget it. Big white step there.
I was in the change rooms, and that was the scariest, because we all know.
Were you there? Were you in the South Australia?
I was with New South Wales.
Right.
So we all know that he could play. He could play, the cuts and the pulls and whatnot. But that day, you saw the whole day he was not timing the ball at all. Like even first session when New South Wales were bowling short to him, he didn't play any pull shot. He was struggling because the timing of the pitch was quicker, the ball was skidding, and he couldn't time the ball. So it's just one of those instances, sometimes your timing is out, you still think that you can hit the ball, but your timing is out. And that day Hughes probably had two top edges, went to fine leg, and then we put a third man as well. And he, how he used to back away and cut over the slips. So that's why there was a third man there, and he could not hit the ball that day. He just couldn't.
But the positioning of his head when he got hit. Look, you can't blame anyone for that, but it was horrifically wrong.
It was, because the thing was, it was carrying on from the whole morning, because he knew that he could not hit the ball, and the pitch was quick. That typically SCG pitch is not quick. But that day they were using the test pitch, the middle one. The ball was coming off really skidding. So he knew after lunch that that he cannot hit the ball, so he got worried about it.
We're talking about Philip Hughes. Philip Hughes when he got hit in a state match for South Australia in November, I think it was. I can't remember the date. But,
that's right.
Look, again, I don't want to be heavy on this. He got hit. It was his own fault. It was his batting technique that flawed on that shot. You can. I don't care where the ball's coming. You should never have the back of your head exposed to a ball. You should completely get out of the way of it. You should duck. I don't think this little thing at the back of the head helps at all.
No, it's not.
Because you shouldn't be hit there under any circumstances.
No, it's just there. A lot of people actually have been hit after that. And if we remember Australia-Pakistan series, I was doing that test match here at the Gabba. Pakistani batter got hit twice. He was fully concussed. He refused to walk off, and that's where after that game the doctors have made that compulsory concussion test, and if you can't pass that test you have to be off. And the guy got hit twice, one from Hazelwood, one from Stark. He still continued to bat on, and then after that he was half as good a batter, and he never played again for Pakistan. So I'm just trying to make a comment that here the concussion does make a lot of difference in modern day cricket. The guys do get a little bit.
It's all well. I get all that. Talk to Neil Harvey for 5 minutes. In his entire Test career over so many years, he never got hit once. And he was 5 foot nothing. And he was a great bat. On uncovered pitch, never got hit once. Never wore a helmet. Now, I'm sorry. Something's flawed today. Something's not right. You can't say they're bowling fast or the pitches or whatever. It's not true.
I'll play devil's advocate. Neil Harvey was batting. There was no restriction on bounces, so he knew that he will get 4 or 5 bounces in an over. So he was prepared. These days, these guys are soft. They get warning after first first bouncer, so they know that they're not going to get another bouncer. They sit on a front stool and they're not prepared for that bouncer. So these days,
you let me loose at any side, any top level test side. I'm not a fast bowler, but I can get a tennis racket and a tennis ball and bounce the crap out of it.
yeah, they train. They train with the
Oh,
jump ball.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen it, and I have not seen them. Their
I'll invite you
technique
to-
is still
I'll invite
flawed.
you to-
How come their technique's flawed?
I'll invite you to our next training.
All right, and I'll throw at them and see how they react. I want to see when a tennis ball's being beamed at them, where they put their head. They should. You would never do this, or never. But that's what they do when they bat. You should be able to go like that. You should almost be able to let the tennis ball go really close to you and be able to get out of the way. But you should be able to see the whisk of the ball going by. That's most understand me.
Yeah, true. Just to bring you back to the game, Trent Boult is continue to bowl, and Broad is
hitting sixes.
He's hitting three boundaries in a row, 2 4s and a 6, and they're nearly within the distance of 12 runs.
And you know why that is? Because McCullum's in his ear.
Exactly.
McCullum and Stokes are going to belt the crap out of this ball.
Belt the crap out of it. Why not? And if you're Thailander batting at 9, you should take the attack to the guy who's already bowled 21 overs. Why not? Take him on and get the distance. Even if they get 50 runs ahead from here, I think England are favourite to win.
Okay. I reckon McCullum walks up to Stuart Broad when he first meets him as coach, goes, "You get the ball out of the ground. I want to see you do that." Ben Stokes, bat like he did every single time. Leeds, your opening batsman, let me see you smack forward. He would have thrown that right at them with these comments.
And I like that. I like this attacking instinct of English with no fear and just go attack and dominate. What's that? Only 60 overs gone and they've 317 runs. How many overs did New Zealand batted to get that 300 odd runs? They batted for 117 overs. So half the overs, and they are in the striking distance of New Zealand target.
I would argue that Australia's in some trouble next year for the Ashes. If this keeps up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agree.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
They're going to build nicely for next year. It's quite incredible. If they keep fit, whether Anderson and Broad are there still, we'll see. They will be. They're going to try to be. Could well be this. I'd say that could be this.
Sri Lanka will destroy both Australia and Pakistan. Look, I think Sri Lanka will be very competitive. The way they're responding, the way they're playing, I think they'll be very competitive.
And I think Sri Lanka will certainly win one of the two tests. It's no matter whether they win both. These are the two perfect grounds for a spinning Sri Lankan bowling attack to play against Australia at Galle. And Australia have not played at Galle in any of the matches so far.
No.
So they've got no experience this time around on Galle.
No.
And that takes spin like oh my God.
Just turn square.
Have you been in the middle of Galle much? Have you had a good look at it? It's incredible.
It is, yes.
It feels 100 miles from the boundary. It really is.
The ground size is quite big. And if you're in stands or even if you're in a change room, you feel like you're too far from the action, but it is a big ground.
Well, there aren't many stands. Cool. They've got a famous statue near the bus station, which the water level went higher than that during the tsunami.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you imagine the whole of Galle Harbour sucked out, fish flipping around on the ground, and rampaging?
That's right. And the thing with Galle is, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but the ground has the capacity or the tendency that the wind changes all the time.
Yep.
So if you're quick and you bowling wind behind you, you'll be always changing ends because the wind continues to change um, its direction. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah, India's number two, and I think India will play the final.
Why are you predicting disaster? What about no of England, Australia? I think it's going to be interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's fair to say Sri Lanka's favourites. Yes, I think it's fair to say.
Can say that.
Are you well? Himanshu, who are you talking about?
He's concerned about you, so you just say you are well.
I'm not well. I found this lovely picture of me dancing
I saw that.
at the wedding.
On your social media.
Yeah,
And it's fantastic
nice. I've been going through all her jewellery and finding jewellery everywhere. And
You were a good
it's a great
looking.
little. It's like a discovery story.
You were a
It's
good.
like, she was a character.
No. But I was complimenting you. You were a good looking rooster as well. So it's
In my day,
in your
going for me. You never met my ex-wife, did you?
No, I did not. No.
She
You
was
mentioned
something.
she was in Queensland.
Sri Lankan, little rocket.
Right.
Do you ever met Dinendra Ilawayan? Well, Mario, he's high performance coach for married to her. Looks a bit like that.
Mhm.
What you want to know? All right, so Stuart Broad's going nuts. They're now equal to the England score, like no tomorrow.
Yeah. So as I said, 50 runs in surplus. New Zealand in trouble.
Well, if we go 20 ahead, that's not going to dramatically change. It's just at the best, so he's 160 not out.
Yeah, he could be 200 by the end of it.
I love his batting.
He's
Remember when he came in against India and he batted early in the order and he got out and he was like a stunned mullet.
I think this number suits him well. Like
Yeah.
low middle order, batting with strokes is always going to make an impact.
Okay, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. That's just Pakistan, is it? Or was it in Sri Lanka?
In Sri Lanka. I think Sri Lanka would be very hard to beat with their three spin attack and the turning pitches. They'll put a trap on. Pakistan's spinners have not dominated recently. You see Yasir Shah back in the squad as well. I like to see him, but he hasn't played much cricket lately. Noman is back as well, but look, it's gonna be spin prone pitches, and how much Shaheen Shah and I like to see Harris play a bit of role in Test cricket.
Yep.
How much they'll play a factor in there, but I think the pitches are going to be turning slow and low, so it'd be hard to bat on. It'd be turned. So Pakistan will be tested. I think Sri Lanka favourite.
Who's got more chance being Australia or Pakistan?
Probably Australia.
Probably Australia, but
Pakistan will be weak on spin. That's the concern. As I was saying before, Pakistani spinners, if they were really dominating, they would have taken the series against Australia, but their spinners made no impact. And I think the spinners will of Sri Lankan spinners will be dominating the series against Pakistan.
if Yasir Shah finds his mojo back again.
Yeah, they could be. Both Yasir and Numan haven't played. You've got to remember these two guys. Numan has, but Yasir has been coming out of injury. Then he had some issues, personal issues. He hasn't played first-class cricket, and all of a sudden he's back in the contention because there was no one who's getting the spin spot for themselves.
Broad's 26. But Pakistan is one country that seems to unearth bowlers everywhere, and I love them. Oh yeah, and what was his name again? The bowler we know, the captain, the coach of the Colunders,
Akib.
He has such a great. He masterminded all that, didn't he?
His plan of Lahore Qalandar and their academy and their talent hunt program is the mastermind, and he's doing really well to serve the Pakistani fast bowling battery, especially not so much in spin department, but fast bowlers. He's producing so many, so it's really good work from him.
He's got a real spark about his way.
Yes.
He's got this future look to the way he's doing things, and this audacious way of going. Everybody from the hillsides, come down here. Let me see what you got. We all know you're talented. Let's get you on a Test cricket field.
And that's the thing now. The Lahore Qalandars have got association with. They used to have it with Sydney Thunder, but now they've gone with Stars, Melbourne Stars here in
Why is that?
BBL. Because of Nick, what's his name, the CEO that used to be at Thunder, and now he's at Stars. So he's got very close ties with the owners of Lahore Qalandars. So Stars have come on board, and now Yorkshire in England. So they've come on board. So a couple of guys were in England playing county
Harris
cricket as well.
Ralph, he's playing, isn't he?
Yep, that's right. So that's very good thing that franchise teams making ties with the first class teams around the world and getting their players to have different experience at different conditions. And that's been again a good mastermind from Akib as well.
This long-term is not going to work long-term. I think it will.
Look, it'd be interesting. I think it will, because this is how Australia changed their approach. You remember Langer, Hayden, Gilchrist, Ponting, they all started playing that attacking form of cricket, and then past that, Warner continued, and that worked. They always scored at 4.5 and over. And I was making a point as well that there's only 60 overs have gone past, and they've scored more runs than New Zealand, whereas New Zealand took twice the overs to score 300 runs. So the game has moved so quickly that allows a result all the time. I know there are going to be some times where they're going to fail, but I think they'll have more successes than failures, because someone's going to click. Someone's just going to have a heyday, and that's Ben Stokes failed this innings, Johnny Best to come off, and that you only need one or two players to come off, and next thing you know, you're 350.
Look, you have to keep the standard going. Okay, and that is the key. Gilchrist, Ponting, Hayden, and the like, they've got to exist. England have got Ben Stokes, Bairstow, and there's a few more there. Jamie Overton now. Oh, that's the sort of player. Jamie Overton is selected based on what we could see today, I'm sure. And that's the key. If you've got if you haven't got players like that, like New Zealand, probably not at the moment. They couldn't adopt that. But even the way Watling used to do that.
After McCullum, their approach got back to the traditional approach, which is, the grafty approach. Both, the contrasting comparisons between McCullum and Williamson's batting approach, and that's where it reflected in New Zealand post-McCullum era. But then you look at England now. Even if England starts to continue to blood other guys, they can easily bring in guys like Butler, David Milan, all those guys who are dominating in white ball cricket, and they continue to have some impact in red ball cricket, and they played red ball cricket as well. So they've got a bit of a battery behind this batting line as well. So they can continue to have this approach for a little longer, I say. I think their first task is to win an Ashes home and away. And if they can do that, I think that the job that McCullum's been hired for is done. If they win an Ashes, well, they haven't lost an Ashes at home. But the thing is, if they win Ashes in Australia with this kind of approach, hats off to the thinking of England management and coaching staff, that they will achieve that. Because currently Australia, post Warner and Smith and the likes of even Marnus, there's nothing solid underneath. The guys are very young and inexperienced. Even though you blood them in, they'll take a couple of years to actually master the Test cricket. So there's nothing underneath that is dominating. You've got guys like Heads, Marcus Harris. Those guys have failed. They've failed. So we haven't got an opener to dominate. No one has dominated in last 2 years of domestic cricket as an opener. No one has dominated in the middle order. All of these guys are on the other side of 30s. Your Khawajas, your Warner, your Smith. They're all on the other side of 30. So if you lose 3 or 4 players in top and middle order, you've got to blood in some youngsters. And then that's where the problem is. You've got to give them a couple of years to actually craft that Test cricket.
I totally agree. Absolutely. Totally agree. I mean, you go back to Renshaw Renshaw to me could well have stayed at opener, will be a long-term batter there. Is how old Renshaw?
Renshaw is mid-20s.
Well, what's wrong with getting back to the way he was?
Exactly right. Nothing. He's had a reasonable good season, but the thing is that he didn't bat as an opener. He was batting at different spots. Sometimes top, middle order. So
yeah, but sometimes you put someone back. He has scored centuries for Australia. Put back in that regime. This is where the state national cricket concerns me. If they've done it at national level, let them go back there. If it was just because state level they play around with you, he did it at the right level. Let him go back there.
Exactly right. I agree 100%, and that's what I'd like to see him, Harry Hunt, Sangha, Peterson, all of these guys to be amongst the, keep getting the opportunities in A series and keep taking them. They should have an A series in India straight after this one when Australia national team is playing in India. They should have an A team actually fighting it out in India playing an A series to be able to get ready for the top spots, because all of a sudden KP is out. He's not even in this series. The guy scored 100 against international sides, so he's not even in the contention. Nick Madison is back in contention, which is good. So you got to keep those next slot ready like it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, Kernahan got his go playing in the ODIs because he was there. If he was home, they wouldn't have even thought about it.
No, I agree.
So you're right.
Yeah.
A tours, and it makes them play under conditions, same time against players that are in and out of the top side, not just a bunch of state guys who they think they're better than. You don't. I mean, Sri Lankan women's classic for me. One of the scores that they keep thrashing each other at home, like it's real teams they get beat. Come to Australia and challenge for the week.
And it goes back to my point again, Norman, that the 4 or 5 years ago, you'd see a lot of A tours used to happen. I remember even in Australia, there used to be a lot of A tours. I remember when Chandimal came in as a first timer. You did that. You remember Townsville? That was first time when Chandimal actually started to come.
And Alan bought a field.
Alan bought a field.
I was there that day.
Socky got 7 for. That's where he got recognized. All of a sudden, you get the next stars getting recognized. Those A series are so important for any country, and Australia used to do it really well, but it dropped off in last 5 or so years. I mean, I know it's last couple of years or 3 years been Corona affected, but even then, before that, I think last time I got involved with the A series was 2016-17 when we did a West Indies and we did in England. But there was nothing. There's like we used to go to South Africa. South Africa used to come here. Then Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka. All of these teams have nearly round the clock. There was an A series happening, but now it's just died. It's just not happening at all. So it's a shame that you're not learning the trade of other conditions, other countries, next level players coming into it. It's really hard.
Rowan Colley says, "Do thanks for winning. It may well be. England play 3 tests for Australia. They win the test. They probably can.
Look,
Well, not with England attitude now. But...
Yeah. If South Africa doesn't win in England, I think that will open up the spot for possibility Pakistan and Australia to slide in as a Test championship. South Africa will have to win against England to cement that spot for the Test championship finals.
Right. That's next year, isn't it?
That's
the World Test.
Yeah, championship.
Josh Philippe playing as awesome. Okay.
Good.
Now, Josh Philippe, Josh Inglis. I keep comparing them. I think Inglis is a better proposition.
Look, I think Inglis is ready. He's pushing Carey now for the top spot. Philippe be good for white ball cricket for next couple of years. I would still like Philippe to continue to play red ball cricket in Australia domestically and dominate. He hasn't dominated red ball cricket yet, so it's good that he's getting opportunities. But I think Inglis probably is pushing Carey. Even though Jimmy Pearson scored 100 in last A game, he's another good keeper. He's very tidy behind the stump. But I think Inglis is the flavour of the month. I think Inglis, the selectors want to push him quickly.
He's got a spark.
He's got a spark about it.
Yes, I like him. He's a good young keeper, tidy behind the stumps and can bat.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would agree with that.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Look at here. So,
Thanks,
so
Norman. I've got to push off.
no worries, mate.
No worries, mate.
I'll touch base with you another time, maybe tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
Hopefully the test is alive, like no one has taken the dominance in the game. But I like a good close test match.
Thank you, most.
Thank you, most.
Thank you again.
Sure.
Sure.
It's excellent to have Moses on. He's particularly experienced. Oh, we're going to there. Broad's just getting away with it there. He's moving to 32 now. England's starting to get a bit of a lead. So who is next? Steve Smith, next Dave Warner for Australia. Next Steve Smith is probably, I think, Jason Sanger, and next Dave Warner probably is someone like Inglis. Ben McDermott, the short format. Harry Hunt, whatever his name is. Summers, Henry Hunt, and Cam Green. Well, Cam Green can't be a Steve Smith. Cameron Green's already there, so he's not the next. He's actually already there. Okay. All right, how are we going time-wise here? Azhar Ali has well past his peak. He must have been excluded. No, I think Azhar Ali's a fantastic player, by the way. I have a lot of time for him. But Ahmed Azhar, okay. We'll go with your thought. All right, now we've gone 1 hour and 21 minutes. Just about England and gone an hour and a quarter. We'll go another 15 minutes and we'll finish up, guys. So throw your questions at me. Got some very, very good solid efforts here in the discussions, haven't we? So it's good to have Mosen on. He's a great compatriot of mine. So England at 7 for 337, with Broad on 33 and Bairstow on 161. Bairstow's it's only 63.3 overs that have gone. That's quite an incredible score. The lead by 8. Who's the next Stark and Cummins? That's a great question. I don't know at this stage. Well, if his reflexes are getting old, then I mean, we should be looking at a few players missing out, shouldn't we? But no, age doesn't seem to be the problem for him. Batted fantastically. He got a century, a massive century. He got a double century in it was a double century in it was a huge century he got in the Australia-Pakistan series. That was something recently, so I wouldn't be knocking him. All right, we might consider going in a second. We've had a good run out this time, guys. Well, love you. You right, Krista?
I'm in charge.
Oh.
I'm running out of battery.
Oh, it comes to the opposite. One of these here. It's just. Where are they? There we go. Is that one of those?
Yep.
All right. Well, so they're saying hi to you. Did you?
Hello.
They can't see you. They can't see you. Come on. We've got Subhash Chandra Bharata saying hello. All right, take a seat. You want to join from?
No,
Okay.
fine.
That's what Lee said. Pakistan's. All right, Rowan Coley. I'm not sure whether you. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll wait and see. So England with 9 for 339. Sorry, 7 for 339. Broad 34. Besto 162. Amazing. All right, we might leave it at that, guys. We'll join you again tomorrow when we've got another broadcast on. I hope you have enjoyed today's show. Talk to you more. And Mansurella, you saying hello to my son. I am checking your messages. Harsh will talk to you in the next few days about what we're going to do with you. Okay, I've got to meet you. I've got to see you on screen. Otherwise, I can't put you on. Okay, so make sure that you watch the match. Broad's 34 He's batting the way he used to many years ago. So there you are. Aussies don't have upcoming quality pass bowls. They don't, Sebash. They're in a bit of a dire straits as far as their bowling is concerned. Indeed. All right, so And there's another 4. Ahmed Raza saying, how is Crystal? Say hello, Ahmed.
Hey, Ahmed. How's it going? Where are you from?
Where's Ahmed Raza? You're from Pakistan, are you not, Ahmed? He hasn't commented yet. I want to go. There's more joining.
How many people can you have on one live?
As in, what do you mean, me?
Like guests?
Up to 10.
10.
I've done that before.
We've
had Jeff Thompson, we've had Parna, a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
So Sebastian, I saw the score. Feels bad for Ozen. Yeah, I feel sorry for him. All right, well, yeah, Ahmed's from Pakistan, he's saying. All right, guys. We might let you go now. England are 7 for 343. There's some only 18 in front. That's more than not. Himanshu, Sebastian, Riley Merritt, Nathan Ellis, Gumstreet, and Jarvis. Jarvis agreed. Riley Merritt not yet. Nathan Ellis in short form, maybe. Lone Guthrie, no. 14 consecutive test matches lost. So nasty, Rowan. Nasty, Rowan. All right, guys. We'll talk to each other very soon again. All the best. All right. With England 7 for 347, Broad on 38, and Best on 162. So take care, guys. We'll talk soon.